Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources.
February 14, 1901 America, New York, the tricks scammers use to steal your money. Criminals are socially engineering victims into giving them money, according to Barclays Bank. February 14, 1900 America, New York, AUD, USD eyes RBA policy minutes as Ukraine woes Stoke haven flows. AUD, USD fell overnight amid increasingly worrisome geopolitical tensions on the Ukrainian border, but prices may moderate as traders step back to assess the situation. RBA February policy minutes February 14, 1831 America, New York, a game of margins. As I've often written, one of the most powerful ideas in economics is the idea of thinking on the margin. That applies to this year's Super Bowl 56. February 14, 1800 America, New York, New Zealand dollar under pressure after testing former support. Recent price action casts a bearish outlook for NZD, USD as the exchange rate falls back from the former support zone around the December low, 0.6701. February 14, 1741 America, New York, Intel nears roughly $6 billion deal to buy Tower Semiconductor. Intel is close to a deal to buy Israeli chip company Tower Semiconductor for nearly $6 billion, according to people familiar with the matter, as the U.S. semiconductor giant continues spending to expand its manufacturing operations. February 14, 1728 America, New York, Citigroup's Jane Fraser gets $22.5 million for first year as CEO. She took over as CEO in early 2021, the first woman to lead a major Wall Street bank. February 14, 1716 America, New York, judge to toss Palin defamation suit against New York Times. A federal judge ruled that the former Republican vice presidential candidate's claims presented at trial were insufficient to prove her libel case against the newspaper. February 14, 1716 America, New York, Trump Organization accountants disavow years of company financial statements. In letter made public as part of New York Attorney General's probe into former president's company, Mazars USA said it would withdraw from its work. February 14, 1706 America, New York, Intel nears roughly $6 billion deal to buy Tower Semiconductor. Intel is close to a deal to buy Israeli chip company Tower Semiconductor for nearly $6 billion, according to people familiar with the matter, as the U.S. semiconductor giant continues spending to expand its manufacturing operations. February 14, 1700 America, New York, S&P P500 subdued on Russia-Ukraine crisis, double-top pattern creates bearish bias. Rising geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe are likely to fuel near-term volatility, creating a negative environment for the S&P P500 and stocks in general. February 14, 1650 America, New York, regulators probe block trading at Morgan Stanley, Goldman, other firms. Federal investigators are probing the business of block trading on Wall Street, examining whether bankers may have improperly tipped hedge fund clients in advance of large share sales, according to people familiar with the situation. February 14, 1636 America, New York, Levi's executive resigns, citing her public views on COVID-19 curbs. Brand president Jennifer Say says she was urged by the CEO and others to limit public opposition to rules for schools. February 14, 1609 America, New York, New Powers propose to end unsafe cladding scandal. Developers who refuse to pay to remove dangerous cladding will be punished, the government says. February 14, 1559 America, New York, the West is crumbling and Putin knows it. Question. It appears that Russia has shifted its focus, claiming it may need to protect Russian citizens in eastern Ukraine. You seem to have more insight than what I read elsewhere. February 14, 1556 America, New York, James Bullard says Fed needs to front-load rate raises amid inflation surge. Given the magnitude and duration of the inflation surge, our credibility is on the line here, the St. Louis Fed leader said in a CNBC interview. February 14, 1555 America, New York, Super Bowl ads suggest the future is now, from crypto to the metaverse. Electric cars also were prominent in commercial breaks during Sunday's NFL championship game, including pitches from Arnold Schwarzenegger and a robotic dog. February 14. 1530 America New York, USD, CAD on cusp of testing monthly high ahead of Canada CPI report. Fresh developments coming out of Canada may do little to derail the recent recovery in USD, CAD as inflation is expected to hold steady in January. February 14. 1518 America New York, Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer and Regina Hall to host Oscars. The comic actresses are in final talks for the job, which the producer Will Packer is adding back to the ceremony. The event had been hostless for the past 3 years. February 14. 1459 America New York, trucking rates, delays increase amid Canada disruptions. Prices to ship goods between the U.S. and Canada have been soaring even though most companies have been absorbing the cross-border delays. February 14. 1447 America New York, Swiss franc outlook, USD, CHF stagnates as Russia-Ukraine talks persist. The Swiss franc has remained support against the US dollar as elevated Russia-Ukraine tensions support safe haven currencies. USD resilience caps losses. February 14. 1441 America New York, chicken industry tightens defenses as bird flu hits flocks. The U.S. poultry industry steps up biosecurity defenses as cases are identified in commercial and wild flocks. February 14. 1421 America New York, Microsoft to start bringing employees back to the office. The company cites the high vaccination rates for COVID-19 in King County, where most of the company's Washington-based employees live, as well as declining hospitalizations and deaths in the state. February 14. 1408 America New York, BlockFi, a crypto firm, reaches a $100 million settlement for failing to register loan products. The threat of SEC scrutiny already had scuttled plans by Coinbase, the largest U.S.-based cryptocurrency exchange, to launch a loan product. Since March 2019, BlockFi has been offering customers a chance to lend the company digital assets and earn interest on those loans. February 14. 1400 America New York, FX week ahead, top 5 events, UK inflation rate, Canada inflation rate, US retail sales, FOMC minutes, Australia jobs report. The middle of the week promises a packed economic calendar.